So we shall start the class. Let me know the topics. Srinivas sir. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes sir. Can you hear me
Yeah,
properly today?
yes, yes. Today it's clear.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
Sir. Tell me. Sorry.
The last example that you were demonstrating in the last yesterday's class,
Okay.
the example that you were showing,
1 minute.
yeah, you were on the program screen and on this one.
Okay. Fine. I think in case of do while loop.
Yeah, it's do while loop, the one with the zeros and the one
Fine.
without with
Fine.
that one.
The last
That is the
difference.
one which you were
Okay.
explaining.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, this one you had put across in the C prompt and you were explaining with the outputs. That was where the distortion started.
Okay. Okay. So once again,
You
we
could,
shall execute that program.
okay.
Uh, Okay, so in this program we can understand like difference between do while loop and while loop. So see here I have taken the value of I is equals to 1. Okay, let me open first while loop. Okay, see here if you observe, so I is equals to 1 initial value, so then the condition is, so then the condition is while I greater than 1, uh, okay, so then printf. So in that means I'm printing the value of I. So now the thing is here this printf statement will be executed zero number of times. That means it is not at all executed, because if you look at the initial value and condition, okay, so I is equals to 1. Here you substitute the value of I in the condition. So while I greater than 1, so I value is 1. 1 greater than 1 is false. That means when program control comes to the while condition, for the first time itself the condition becomes false. So then immediately it comes out of the loop without executing the printf statement which is present inside the while loop. Okay, so that means here the minimum number of times the while loop statements are executed, or we can say the while loop is executed, is 0 when condition becomes false for the first time itself. So now let us execute this program. Okay, so if you look at the screen, there is blank screen without printing anything. That means printf statement is present inside the while loop, which is not executed. That means zero number of times while loop is executed. So here nothing is printed on the screen. So if we trace by using F7, so we can understand. So I is equals to 1, I greater than 1. So here I value is 1, 1 greater than 1 is false. So 1 equals to 1 is true, whereas 1 greater than 1 is false. Okay. So the control immediately comes out of the loop. That means without executing the statements of the loop. So in this way we can consider. Okay, you can look at this screen. So this is in case of while loop. Now if we go to the do while, okay. So here only I can change it. Okay. So do printf, what I can say is while I greater than 1. Okay, this is the condition. So here what happens, when the program control comes to the do while loop, before checking the condition, that is I greater than 1, statement is executed. That statement is printf. One time it is executed. After executing first time, condition is checked. So the what we can consider is condition is also checked for the first time. Then it becomes false. For the first time only, condition becomes false. See here, similarity is in case of while loop also condition becomes false for the first time. In case of do while loop also condition becomes false for the first time. But in case of while loop, printf is not executed at all. In case of do while loop, printf statement is executed once. So if we observe the output here, if we run the program, see it is printed 1. So that which is present inside the do while loop. So printf is present inside the do while loop and the value of I is 1, so it is printed. Now if we trace by using F7 key, see here, so this printf is executed once, so the value 1 is printed and
And
checks the.
there's a latency. There's a latency in the video.
Okay.
There's a time delay. Now I can see see the programming sheet. Earlier it was in the output sheet only. Now I can see while I greater than 1, the trace route is pointing out to while I greater than 1. And there's a bit delay and latency, what I can say in terms of the screen that's coming up. I'm not sure if others too are facing this issue.
Okay. I don't know.
Hello, you're there?
No, I don't know the problem because I changed the router. Uh, okay. So let me
No, no,
explain.
your audio is fine today, but what I'm saying, while you are changing over the screen, it appears there's a delay, and now I can see the Turbo C++.
Okay, fine.
Um, I start Turbo C++ screen.
Okay. Okay, let me go a little bit slow so that people can catch the tracing as well as output. Okay. So once again, I will trace this program. Okay. I think can you see Turbo C++ editor now? Okay. So F7 key have pressed. So main function is executed. Then I is equals to 1, initial value of I. So then clear screen. Hello. So can you hear my voice, all of you?
Yeah,
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay, fine. Okay, so here we are in the middle of tracing. So, source is modified. Okay, so it has started from first. So I is equals to 1. So then clear screen. Uh, so printf statement is executed one time. Okay, so then it checks the condition. So here condition is checked for the first time. So this point you have to remember. So it is checked for the first time in case of while loop and do while loop. Whereas in case of while loop, when it checks for the first time, if it is false, statements of loop are not executed. In case of do while loop, statements of loop are executed once. So that's what we can say, at least once. Okay, so that it comes out of the loop. That means second time it will not go for the printf statement. So here if you observe the output, so one is printed, which indicates one time printf statement is executed. So whichever statement you write in the while loop and do while loop, so this is the concept. In case of while loop, statements are not executed. In case of do while loop, at least one statements are executed. I hope you people have understood this third difference. So I think you people have copied this difference also, that is example. So with output, so we shall move further to the for loop. Okay. So this is the for loop, that is the third looping statement. So in case of looping statements, we have three: while loop, do while loop, and for loop. So this is the third one. Okay. So here you look at the syntax. So definition is like it is a looping statement. That's all, and all the concept of looping for while loop and do while loop. So same concept is applied here. That is the looping concept I'm telling. Repetition of execution of statements until the condition becomes false. The way we write for loop, that makes a difference. Okay, and some properties also there is a difference. So we will see here what it is. So in this case, so you look at the syntax, first form and second form. So functionality is same, but there is a little bit difference in writing first form and second form. You observe. So it starts from the keyword for with opening parenthesis. Then we have three statements: expression one, expression two, expression three. After expression one, you have to put semicolon. After expression two, semicolon. After expression three, there is no semicolon. Even after closing parenthesis, there is no semicolon. Here, if you put a semicolon for the for loop, that is at the end after closing parenthesis, it will not show error on the blue screen, that is editor screen. Okay. So I'll speak for 2 3 minutes. Let me know. Okay. So this is the syntax of for loop. So in this case, so it starts from the keyword for with parenthesis, opening parenthesis. Okay, then expression one semicolon, expression two semicolon. After expression three, there is no semicolon. Even after closing the parenthesis, there is no semicolon in both the forms. Okay. So next, see, you have to follow the syntax correctly when you write the program. There are two types of errors in a program: syntax errors and semantics errors. So syntax errors refers to the grammar errors. I think I have given the example in the introduction to C language. So when we miss the like question mark, full stop, comma, these things in English, so those are the mistakes of grammar. So when we miss some words which changes the meaning, that is the mistake of logical. That means the person who reads the sentence or the person who listens to our words may misunderstand. That means he may not understand correctly. Okay. And when you write in a sentence format also, if you don't miss anything like comma, full stop, question mark and all, but if you miss important word which changes the meaning of the sentence, then that is logical error. Okay. So in programming language also, if you miss semicolon, or opening brace, closing brace, those mistakes are grammar mistakes, syntax mistake, or we can call rules mistakes. Okay. In case of for loop, what we can consider is, like, after closing parenthesis there is no semicolon, but if we put semicolon, even though it is a grammatical mistake, that is syntactically it is error, but it will not show error message on the editor screen. Rather, in the output we may not get expected output. From that only we have to see the code and we have to correct it. Okay. So this is about syntax. So expression, after expression 1 semicolon, after expression 2 semicolon, after expression 3, you have to close the parenthesis but no semicolon there. Okay. Before parenthesis or after parenthesis there is no semicolon. Then comes the statement. In case of first form, only one statement I have written. I hope you people have understood. For if else, nested if, while loop, there also I have written one statement, and after that in the second form, multiple statements. That is statement 1 to statement n with opening brace and closing brace. Okay, that is called as block. Okay. So now expression 1 will be executed first. Okay, in this for loop. Next, after expression 1, expression 2 will be executed. See here, individually you can consider one particular statement, because after expression 1 there is semicolon. So in C language, semicolon indicates the end of the statement, not end of the line, end of the statement. Okay. So after expression 1 there is semicolon. We can consider expression 1 as one executable statement. So this is executed first. Next, after that, expression 2 will be executed. Okay. After that, there is semicolon. So we can consider expression 2 as the next statement. It is executed second. Immediately after expression 2, expression 3 will not be executed. Okay. The program control will move to the statement in case of first form. In case of second form, the program control will move to the block where there are statement 1 to n. So all the n statements are executed. So in first form, one statement is executed. Okay. After executing the statement, then it moves to the expression 3. So here you should not get confusion that expression 1, expression 2, expression 3 are executed in sequence. No, expression 1, expression 2 are executed, but after expression 2, the program control will move to the statement which executes. After that, it moves to the expression 3. So once expression 3 is executed, then what we can consider is, like, first round of for loop is finished, because looping means it has to execute more than once. So if it executes once also, it is called looping only, but actual application is if it executes more than once. So that's what we need in programming. Okay. So after execution of expression 3, again program control will move to the expression 2. Okay. After expression 2, 3. So I have written number so that people can understand. 2, 3 and 4 are executed in sequence, whereas first step is executed only once. Expression 1 is executed only once for all the rounds. Say if this for loop executes 5 times, but expression 1 will be executed only one time, whereas 2 3 the steps 2 3 and 4 are executed 5 times. Okay, in case of first form and second form. So here I have written expression 1 indicates initialization. So initialization in the sense giving initial value to the variable. So if at all, if you want example, if you consider this while loop or do while loop, what we write I is equals to 1. That is called giving initial value to the variable. So whichever the variable we are using in the loop, for that variable we have to give the initial value. That is called as initialization step in case of looping. Okay. Next, expression 2 indicates condition. So in while loop and do while loop, we have discussed about condition. So in this example, I greater than 1 is the condition. So whenever we write the conditions, we have to remember relational operators and logical operators. In some cases, with relational operators, it is enough. In some cases, we need logical operators, okay, to write the condition. Next, expression 3 indicates increment or decrement process. Not only increment, even we can do decrement process also. So if you consider in this example, so here I have not written increment operator because we have executed only once. These two loops are we have executed only once. But if we consider in other examples like here I plus plus or I minus minus, anything I plus plus increment step, I minus minus decrement step. So either we have to write increment step or we have to write decrement step. Okay. So this is the about syntax. Now, so working functionality we will see how for loop will execute. Okay. Okay. Expression 1 is executed first and the initial value is assigned to the variable. So this statement is executed only once. So this point you have to remember. Okay, if complete for loop executes 5 times or 10 times, but expression 1 will be executed only once. That is, assigning initial value to the variable happens only once. Expression 2 is executed next means second, to check the condition. So in expression 2, we have to write the condition. If the condition is true, the program control enters the for loop to execute the statement or statements. Because in first form I have written only one statement, in the second form I have written more than one statement, which indicates block. So what we can consider it is program control enters the for loop to execute one statement if we have written one statement or group of statements, that is called a block, so which will execute. Okay. Next, third point. After execution of statement or statements, the control is transferred to the expression 3, where we write increment or decrement process like I plus plus or I minus minus. Okay, that particular statement is executed. Okay, so till here, what we can consider it is first round of iteration of for loop. Okay, after executing expression 3, see, look at this point. After execution of expression 3, the control is transferred to the expression 2 because there we have written the condition. So in case of looping, it will check the condition, execution of statements, increment or decrement. Check the condition, execution of statements, increment or decrement. So expression 3 indicates increment, right? Expression 2 indicates condition. So again it will check the condition. So if the condition is true, the statements of for loop are executed again. Okay. And this process is repeated until the condition becomes false. So in case of while loop and do while loop also, it is the same thing. Checking the condition, execution of statements, increment or decrement process. Okay. Once the condition is false, the program control immediately comes out of the for loop structure. So this is the working of for loop. So by looking at the numbers in the circle and the arrow marks, I hope you people can understand the working of for loop. Okay, and you look at the arrow marks also. Okay. So now you can copy this first form and second form. So while copying, if you come across any doubts, you can ask.